So looking at this file to kind of talk about it in context of our text perspective by Powell, this page is from I thought it was mentioned on here, but it's from a book, a series of books named Basic Perspective Drawing. I believe they're up to like the 5th edition or something on this one. It's been around for a long time. It's actually a really exceptional book. Typically kind of see it more in drafting situations and kind of architecture related classes, but it works really well. So one of the things we're looking at here is how does this relate to the text. So basically here they're showing you, and you'll notice they don't give you a lot of text. There's some background. It's kind of built. It's the same basic idea of this class where you're building off of ideas and you kind of have to have some background. But basically this top one is what we're seeing on page 25. He's dividing the box to find the center of it, and then he's taking that center and finding another center for it. So that's all the kind of plus sign aspects are after he's developed these X's to find center lines. Now if I open, let me open this other file because it's also related, and we've kind of seen it before. I think I've posted it before to somebody. Let's see. Here we go. And basically, this is kind of the same idea. We have this box. We've centered it, and then the measurements lesson was used to add this detail. And then this detail shown here. If we had a little more time, I could go through it on how you would do these divisions. But then it was shown applied in perspective of how this kind of textured surface would look in 3-point perspective. So there's this relationship that you'll see kind of as we move forward with this. So as we kind of look on, if we look at this part of the image, it goes to the next part of our box. This is basically page 27 summarized in a simple image where they have the center line and then they draw a diagonal across the center line from one box to create the end of the next box. This works well in fence posts. This also works well on doing the divider lines on the road. You can do the same thing to divide these spaces up. Again, looking at page 27 of the perspective book will help you do that. And 29 kind of summarizes it again. So what you're doing, if you're looking at page 29, or even looking here, is basically these boxes, that's the length of the line, and then the next box you would just leave empty, and then the next one you include another line. So basically, let me see if I have another file. I'm going to pause this for a second. I'll be right back. So here, and I can post this file. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you. But basically the same idea here. What we're talking about with these boxes, just so I can kind of reference something, this kind of same idea as the book. If these are your center lines, kind of these darker purple colors, the red areas would be the spaces where there's no line. So all you would need to do, and if you can follow along here, but again, page 29 of your book is perfect for this, is basically kind of alternating these lines. Now obviously yours is going to be much thinner, but again it's the same idea of just doing a fence on the ground. You'll notice there's quite a few guidelines here. It gets a little bit more complicated to break this up, but you can notice how the angles and the size start to relate to this sense of depth and space, and that's what will happen on your road. You have this kind of if we kind of open it for a second, let's see. So if we look at your drawing here, the sense of space is broken up a little bit. We can see that it's quite small. This is not typically smaller than that. So we're looking for these to get quite relative in the spatial relationships. So the lengths, if you go through and divide this, again, we can kind of maybe do this a little quick. You'll have to excuse me, I'm using a trackball. I was not kind of thinking about doing it this way. But once you have this and you've established one of your sections, you also can determine your center line. Again, we're referencing the page 29 here, so you could go ahead and drop your X in here and then just cut diagonally across once you have that center line. And there's roughly, if we're considering that line that's there, the center line, that will create the length for the next segment. So if you keep kind of doing that, now again, I don't know if you can see the center line here, but once you have that, and we're just referencing the text, it'll help. So let me know if you have any questions.